Hey guys, Daniel here again, coming at you here with yet another video through God's grace. Today is an exciting one because we're talking about that you only need $1,000 or even less to start the ATM business, and I'm going to show you how. So this method does require you to have some at least halfway decent credit. That's because you're going to be using credit cards to buy the ATM machines and the modems. That way you don't actually have to have the physical money to pay for them. Now, this method does have pros and cons, so we're gonna walk through a few of those. I'm gonna show you the credit card that I actually use myself and how to get it. So this is the method that I currently use to buy my ATMs. And what's great about them is that the cards that I had specifically picked out, did a lot of research, and the ones that I picked out have a 0% APR intro offer. All of that means is that you get zero interest on anything that you buy with these credit cards. So it does come with some strings attached, and we're gonna go through some of those things and the pros of using a credit card to buy your ATM machines. Now, a few things you have to keep in mind is that you have to make minimum payments in order to keep zero interest. Now, the minimum payment's only like $50, maybe $75 at most a month to keep the 0% interest. But remember, you just spent $2,500 on an ATM, so making a $75 payment is extremely low and a pretty good trade-off. Now, you get zero interest, which means the money that you spent is not accruing any interest. So it's essentially like you're borrowing the money. Now, for both of these credit cards, it's an intro offer, meaning it's not for the lifetime of the card. It's only for the first 15 months of you opening up these new credit cards. So you want to be ready to go. You want to order an ATM pretty much right away, so that way you can maximize that time that you have for the 0% intro APR. After that 15 months, then it goes to like a variable interest rate depending on your credit score. So that's the first pro of using a credit card, is that you don't actually have to have the money to buy the ATM machines. That's great. Also, another pro is, if you guys don't know this, when you use credit cards to buy things, you get money back. You get a percentage back. Now, there's two credit cards we're going to be talking about today. One's going to be from American Express. One of them is going to be from Chase. Now, they all have their own categories, and we'll kind of briefly go through each one of those when I show you on my computer. But one of the categories for American Express is you get 3% back on online purchases. Now, if you guys don't know this, 3% is a lot. That's a lot back. Like, the most money that I get back on any of my credit cards is 5%. So 3% is a lot. Now, when you buy an ATM, this counts as an online purchase, which means you get 3% of that whole purchase given to you right back. Now, these machines that you buy, if you use one of my ATM vendors, is $2,400 if you get the Gen Mega 2500s, which is the one that I use. So doing the math on that, you get about $75 back on that purchase. That's definitely a pro. You're gonna spend that money anyway, whether it's real cash or credit card or not. So you might as well get some money back. $75 is a lot of money to get back. That pays for half of the modem. On money that you were gonna spend anyway. Now, another pro of using credit cards to buy your ATM machine is essentially they're gonna pay themselves off literally. Because remember, you just bought it with the credit card, which means you don't actually have the money. You're not actually spending any of your real money to buy it. So once you get the ATM, you put it in a location. Let's say it makes you $200 to $300 a month. Well, that $200 to $300 is gonna pay that minimum payment to keep your 0% interest. So it's just gonna pay itself off literally over the next 15 months. It's paying itself off. The money's never gonna come out of your pocket. It's only gonna come out of the income that you make from the ATM, which is really smart business sense. Now, one last pro for using credit cards to buy your ATM machines is, at least from my ATM vendor, it actually ships out to you faster than if you were to pay from a bank account. Because the only way to pay from a bank account would be for an ACH bank transfer or to use your debit card, obviously, but it does take an extra week for those funds to clear from your bank account and move over to their bank account. But if you buy with a credit card, then those funds go into their bank account immediately, and it just means that they can send it out to you quicker. Because they're not going to send it out, they're not going to ship out the ATM to you until the funds have fully cleared, like they're in their bank account and ready to go. So if you use a credit card, that happens instantly. If you use a debit card or like a routing and a bank account number, then it does take an extra week. So that's another pro. Now, moving on to the cons of using credit cards, because there are a few. Number one is that, well, you have to have some decent credit. You actually have to be approved for these credit cards to use them. So you can't have terrible credit. Another con is you are going into debt, so keep that in mind. Now, if you use these two credit cards that I'm about to show you, or any other one that have a similar offer, you're not accruing any interest, but you are still going into debt. If you spend $2,400, and even though it's not accruing any interest, you are in debt of $2,400. So just keep that in mind. If you're a person who does not handle debt well, do not use this method. So just keep that in mind. You are going into debt, and it is biblical to pay off your debt. So make sure that you stay responsible with it and that you have a plan on paying off these debts, whether it's going to be instantly $500 a month, $300 a month, whatever you can afford. Make sure that you are paying this debt down, because remember, these credit cards I'm about to show you are only 15 months of 0% interest, which means on the 16th month, you're going to start accruing interest on whatever you have left in your debt. So honestly, that's pretty much it for the cons that I can think of. I'm sure you guys can think of something else, but me personally, I'm very good at handling debt and using credit cards. So I really don't see too many cons for this method. Okay guys, so like I mentioned, there are two that I recommend. I've done a lot of research. I probably spent like 2 or 3 days just researching which credit cards would be the best to use. And now you can do your own research. I recommend you do that, but these are the two that I recommend. These are the two that I actually use personally for my business. So the first one is the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. Now, I use this one on the left right here. This is the one that I use. You can use the one on the right. Look at all of the stuff and choose this one is right for you. But as you can see right here, another pro for these two credit cards is they both have this same kind of offer right here. So right here, if you spend $500 in the first 3 months, which is easily one ATM or even just going to the grocery store for like 2 months, then you get $200 back. So that was a big reason why I chose one of these cards. The American Express has that same offer. So you actually so if you get approved for both these credit cards like I do, then you'll actually get $400 back on money that you were gonna spend anyway. And here's the offer that I was talking about. So it's called a 0% intro APR for 15 months. So that means that you'll accrue 0 interest on any purchases you make within the first 15 months. So that way you can pay off, you can actually have the ATMs pay themselves off without having to pay any extra money. And then you can scroll down here. I won't spend too much time on these, but as I mentioned, using credit cards, if you don't know already, you get money back for all purchases. And then you can kind of read what purchases, how much money you get back percentage for what type of purchases. So moving on to the American Express one, like I said, it's kind of around the same thing. This is why I ended up getting approved for both of these. So it's once again a 0% intro APR on purchases for the first 15 months. So same thing. Now, if you wanted to be really smart about this, which is actually be smarter than what I did, that you would actually get approved for one of these cards, and then on the 16th month or on the 15th month, you would just get approved for the other card. That way you maximize that time. Instead of 15 months, you get 30 months. So you get like a few years. You'll get like 3 years of a 0% interest. So that would be the actually smarter way to go about it. I didn't do that, but that's what I would recommend for you guys. And once again, you get that $200 cash back. Now this is a slightly different. You have to spend $2,000 versus the other $500 you had to spend for the Chase one. However, you get 6 months to spend the $2,000 versus the Chase, where you only get 3 months. But remember, that's one ATM. That's literally one ATM. So if you buy 2 ATMs within 6 months, then you'll get $200 per card back. So that's $400 on money that you were going to spend anyway. And same thing with these guys. You get money back. I'll let you guys go through what percentage that you get back for each one of these purchases. You just have to look them up. It's different for all things. So you guys can just Google them. They'll come right up. But this one's called the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. So just Google Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card. And then this one right here is called the Blue Cash Everyday Card from American Express. So just Google those and they'll come right up. You can do your own research on other ones if you want. But these are the two that I recommend. I looked at all the other companies, Capital One, Discover, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, like all of them. And by far, these two were the best, just due to the 0% intro APR, the $200 that you get back from them, all that stuff. So guys, just to recap, you're gonna have to spend money on these ATMs either way. So you might as well do it with a method that's gonna give you some money back. That's why I'd rather use credit cards to purchase the ATM machines rather than just using straight money from my bank account, because I'm getting money back on money that I would have spent either way. So to me, it's a smarter business method to do it this way. But just keep in mind that you will still need some money to put into the ATM machines, which is where the $1,000 comes in. You'll need some money saved up. Now, keep in mind, if you only put $1,000 or less into the machines, you'll have to go there more frequently to refill the machines. But if that's all the money that you have saved up, I still would recommend starting the business, because at least in the beginning, it'll still be worth having to go back to the machines to just refill the ATMs. Remember that $1,000 just gets recycled back into your bank account. So you could just be putting that same $1,000 back in the machine, back in the machine, back in the machine, and you're making income on that $1,000. I recommend you have more money than that, but if you only have $1,000, even $700 saved up, it's still worth it to go and get approved for one of these credit cards, buy the ATM machine on credit, and then just use the little cash you have saved up to actually put into the machine. And then just keep on going back to refill it until you make some income from it to be able to put more money back in the machine. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has opened a door that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, to use credit cards instead of actual card-held cash to buy ATM machines. Please hit your boy with a like and a subscribe. And if you're looking to go from 0 to 100, then check out my ATM bundle. It's only $120 to get all the information that you need to start the ATM business yourself. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll be happy to reply immediately. I'm gonna ask any questions that you guys may have. But until next time, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.